Hey guys, how's it going? I'm out here. It's drizzly, it's rainy. I've done these videos in snowstorms and sun, and today it's kind of yucky and foggy, but the world is picking up. There's going to be a lot more noise behind me. I hope it's not too distracting, but I wanted to talk today about our weaknesses and how the gospel works in our weaknesses. How that all works together, the gospel and our weaknesses. I'm going to be reading from Paul Tripp again. This one came from April 9th, so a month ago, and I've been tossing it over in my mind, thinking about my own weaknesses the whole time. So I thought I'd bring it today. And so I'll start with the question, what are your weaknesses? Some of the things you struggle with, some of the things you might not be good at, some of the things you can't seem to get over, those hurdles and barriers that just drag you down. Kind of have those in mind. We're going to look at 2 Corinthians 12, 7 through 10. So here's what Paul says about his weaknesses. So to keep me from becoming conceited, because of the surpassing greatness of the revelation, a thorn was given me in my flesh, a messenger of Satan to harass me, to keep me from becoming conceited. 3 times I pleaded with the Lord about this, that it should leave me, but he said to me, my grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. Therefore I will boast all the more gladly of my weaknesses. Check that out. Therefore I will boast all the more gladly of what? My weaknesses, so that the power of Christ may rest upon me. For the sake of Christ, then, I am content with weaknesses, insults, hardships, persecutions, and calamities. For when I am weak, then I am strong. How cool is that? He is boasting and glad in his weaknesses. So again, here's what Paul Tripp says about it. Fasten your seatbelts. Here we go. God chooses for you to be weak to protect you from you and to cause you to value the strength that only he can give. In this way, the weaknesses that he sends are not impediments to the good life. They are not in the way of his loving plan. They are not signs of a lack of his care. They're not indicators of the failure of his promises. They do not expose gaps in the theology that we hold so dear. They are not indications that the Bible contradicts itself when it says that God will meet all of your needs. No, these weaknesses are tools of his zealous and amazing grace. Think about it. Your weaknesses are tools of his zealous and amazing grace. They protect you from the arrogance of self-reliance that tempts us all. They keep you from thinking that you're capable of what you're not. They remind you that you are needy and were created to be dependent on one greater than you. They cause you to do what all of us in some ways resist doing. Humbly run to God for the help that only he can give. So your weaknesses are not the big danger that you should fear. What you should really fear are your delusions of strength. When you tell yourself that you are strong, you quit being excited about God's rescuing, transforming, and empowering grace. That's the last thing I want. The last thing I want is to not be excited about God's rescuing, transforming, and empowering grace. Paul actually celebrated his weaknesses because as he did, the power of God rested upon him. This is so cool. Take what your weaknesses are and think about them. They are tools of his zealous and amazing grace, his care for you. They're put there on purpose to care for you. That turns weaknesses upside down completely. And then you have to think, as I think about some of my weaknesses, like studying Greek over the last year or so has been really, really tough. Actually sitting down and doing something I hate doing is a huge weakness. Finding the discipline to do that is excruciatingly difficult. But what did it do? When I got to the end of myself and I couldn't figure out how to do it, I relied on God. I had no other option. That's what the weakness did. And I saw him come through. And here's how it works. What it never did when I saw this and I was relying on God, and you think about how God, these tools, that weaknesses are tools of God's care for us, what it never did is sort of lead me to not care about my weaknesses. It didn't make me sit there, well, I just can't do it. I'm not going to be good at this. No, it led me to work on them because I was relying on God and he worked through it. So it's such a cool lesson of our forgiveness. Grace never has us, I don't care, I guess I'm just weak here. It doesn't matter. They're there to get me to rely on God. And when I do it, I can boast in them. I can be glad because he comes through and I rely on him and I'm not relying on myself. So it's an awesome message. What are some of your weaknesses? How can they lead you to rely on God? And test it out. What glory will you see there? So hope this is encouraging. as always, spend some time in 2 Corinthians there today. Think about your weaknesses. We'll see you again soon.